Hey everybody, welcome. I can't talk. Hey everybody, welcome to today's stream. Hope you're all doing good today. So we are going to cast some Cholla Cactus on the stream today. It should be pretty fun. We're going to make, excuse me, some handle blanks. And there they are. I've been baking them overnight just to make sure all the moisture is out of it. And we got 6 PVC pipes. We're going to do 2 batches here. So we're going to do 3 on one batch, and then we're going to do 3 more. And so this should be pretty cool because we get to pick some really cool colors and have a little bit of fun with these things. So who is ready to do some casting? I'm pretty much ready. So like I said, hope everybody's doing good today. I don't know, I'm dying. I can't. I started the show, everything was great, and then now I'm like coughing and doing I don't know what. But it's okay. No big deal. We'll get through it, right? So let's see here. Oh, SWAT. Okay, so I'm going to switch to the overhead view again. And I'm going to share the results from last Wednesday. So we did it's Cactus Month, I think. We did some cactus glitter, and these things turned out really cool. I love how they look. Now, one thing that I found is these cactus glitters are a little bit larger than like the shamrocks. And so they kind of, some of them, the pores ended up a little bit weird. They kind of clump together in kind of bunches sometimes. So one thing to kind of keep in mind, I think the glitters like this, the shape glitters that are a little bit kind of more like circular and a little smaller, don't do that as much. I didn't get that with clovers or any of that stuff. But I'm really happy with these. They turned out really cool. And then from the virtual craft festival, here's the 15 color pour that we did. Oh man, these things look so good. They turned out really good. I'm happy with them. So I think I'm gonna have to pour another batch of these things, probably on my own, I guess, and I'll just pick some random colors, but we need to make sure that everybody in the mystery box troop gets one of these, because wow, these things are spectacular. Just amazing color choices. I really like the blurple in here adds some really coolness. There's little sparkles every once in a while. And then even that gold that we picked, you can see some little gold sparkle things. I think it was the 24 karat gold. Man, super, super spectacular. So those will be going out next month in the mystery box, subscriptions. So let's get these guys out of the way. Get these out of the way, and we will begin. We will get some casting going. I'm going to get a drink because I'm coughing and choking. It's really dry here lately. So maybe that's what it was. I don't know. All right, so how are you guys all doing? We were talking about, I saw you guys were talking about some weather, some heat in Florida and Phoenix, or Tucson, I should say. Not Phoenix. It's pretty nice here. The interesting thing is, I think this year has actually been fairly cool so far. We're getting almost into June at 25th. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's about typical, but right now outside, I think it's maybe for the next couple days, it's going to be in the 90s here, but it's pretty dry up here too. So not too bad really. The shop's still reasonable. It's when it starts to get to like high 90s that it's just unbearable. And the other problem is our shop, once it heats up, it doesn't cool down very easily. So it's like if we have sustained high temperatures here, then the shop's just kind of miserable. But it could be worse. I could be in Phoenix. That's pretty hot down there, or Vegas. Seattle, yeah. Rain. I'm not sure I could deal with all the rain up in the Pacific Northwest. I don't know. So let's get rolling here. So number 1, the first thing we got to do is spray these with mold release. All right, so you can kind of see me maybe on that camera over there. I'm just going to use Stoner mold release. Any mold release, as long as it works with your resin, will work. This stuff seems to work with pretty much anything. If it's, it definitely works with Alumilite Clear Slow or Clear. but it also works with every epoxy that I've used it with. So the purple stoner is good. I don't really recommend. There's another one that some people recommend called, it's another, Stoner is just the brand. I don't know who came up with that name. But anyway, there's this one called Thermoset Mold Release, and people would say that this is the one that you're supposed to use with epoxies. This stuff is like cooking spray. It's like grease almost. I don't recommend using that. Another option, the two that I know work really well, this universal mold release works pretty good too, and it even works with silicone. So silicone to silicone molds. You know, if you're pouring like a two-piece silicone mold, this stuff will work with that too. So that one can be used anywhere. But I've been using this one for so long that it's the urethane mold release. Even though it says urethane mold release, it still works with all the epoxies I've done anyway. So just make sure it's meant to work with your thing and your resin choice. If you're not using like Alumilite products, if you're using like a different epoxy, then most manufacturers have stuff, or at least recommend a certain you know, mold release or product that you can use. But in general, I mean, they all kind of work with any resin, so just pick up whatever you can get, and you should be good. All right, so I don't know if you guys can see really, but I'm just giving these good coverage. You don't need to like douse them, but you want to kind of get, you know, all surfaces in there sprayed. And these are pretty long tubes, so I'm actually flipping them over. I don't know if you can see me or not. I don't think you can. I'm spraying from both ends to make sure that I get, you know, both the top and the bottom basically sprayed. I'm just kind of rotating around, making sure that I'm getting all the surfaces. You always are going to want to use a mold release if you're casting in a pipe. Definitely if you're casting urethane or epoxy, technically you can probably get away without, well, you can definitely get away without using it for polyester resin, but at this point nobody really uses that anymore. So that one just shrinks so much that it's not an issue. That's also one of the reasons why I don't really recommend using it for casting blanks, especially if you're casting something in it. You can imagine if it's shrinking away from, if it shrinks a lot, that can cause problems if you're casting something in it, you know. No, I'm not going to AAW. I couldn't make it out this time. I am going, actually, that's a good point to bring up. I am going to the SoCal Turners Expo. It's going to be so much fun. I can't wait. I'm going to be there and I'm going to be kind of hanging out at the Turner's Warehouse booth. So Turner's Warehouse, Chad's going out. They got a booth at SoCal, and so that's July 2nd and 3rd, and it's down in Anaheim. So here's the deal, guys. If you want it, this is like the perfect Turner vacation, right? Because, you know, maybe your family doesn't really like turning, they don't care so much. You can actually bring them on this trip, stay at that hotel, and then they can all go to Disneyland. Because you're like literally a mile, if that, from Disneyland. So it's kind of a cool thing. You can rope you'd be like, hey family, you guys want to go to Disneyland? And then you go to the Turner's Expo. Although I wouldn't really want to miss Disneyland myself, you know, either. But so it's going to be a pretty cool event, I think. I'm hearing more and more people are going, so it should be pretty cool. I know there's a lot of people that live down in Southern California that are going for sure, but it should be pretty cool. Let's see here. I'm just trying to read. Okay, just making sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, all right. So what we're going to do, like I said, we're going to do 2 rounds. So like basically 2 kind of designs, let's say. 2 rounds of 3 pipes. All right, and so what we're going to do is we're going to let you guys pick different colors. So super chats are open now. if you want to pick some colors to put in these guys for the first round of 3. The way this is going to work, it's pretty simple. These are going to be handle blanks. That's kind of the idea of what I'm thinking for these. So we got, you know, relatively decent size, like 1¼ inch to 1¼ diameter. All you got to do is drop it in the pipe and then pour some resin on it. It's super simple. So for this cholla, I'm sure people are probably kind of thinking like, oh, do you need to stabilize it? And you can stabilize it. I used to back in the day, and I've just kind of given up on it. It doesn't really need stabilizing. So, you know, I think it's more going to be a little bit more of a waste of time if you have to stabilize it. Then I think you can totally get away with not doing it. If you want to try to add color to it, that would be a good reason to stabilize it. But I got to be honest, I've had difficulty having the stuff really pick up good amounts of color. It's something that I would recommend doing, you know, a super long soak period for sure, and just kind of give it that, you know, that a little bit of extra time compared to just normal, you know, like burl wood or something like that. But it will take color. So, you know, you can do it, but I don't find it to be super amazing usually. So I've kind of quit doing it. Again, considering the amount of work that you have to put into it, doing stabilizing. So it just depends. And the natural look of it is kind of cool on its own. But I will say I have seen some stabilized, dye stabilized cholla, and even made my own, where the colors really do add some coolness. But I think the thing is, you know, some cholla pieces are going to take color pretty well, and other ones just don't seem to take on any of the color or resin really. So just to let you know, I don't think that it's really necessary. You can just pick this stuff up. The only thing you want to do is make sure it's dry, you know, dry it out. All right, so Mark, Lelia, and Kim are in. So Kim's got turquoise, okay. All right, so I've kind of estimated that these pipes are going to take about 230 grams of resin, something like that. So let's switch over. I pre-did this. So these are 1½ inch pipes. They're about 7 inches or something like that long. Unfortunately, I don't have enough clear 1½ inch pipe to do this, so it kind of detracts a little bit for like the video purposes, but you guys get the point, you know. So we're doing, let's see here, 230 each. So we're gonna do 3 of them, 230 times 3. I don't like doing mental math, so that's about 690. Let's just round up to 700 grams. And we can pour any extra in the Happy Fun cup. So, you know, I don't mind adding a little bit extra. 350 times 2. We're using Alumilite Clear Slow today, as we usually do. Let me get my hand out of the way. How about that? There we go. Now it's clear. Alumilite Clear Slow. And that's got a 1-to-1 mix ratio. You're gonna measure it by weight on the scale. And it's got about a 12-minute working time. It's a urethane resin, so it's one of the faster, you know, working time resins. I like that because that gives you a shorter amount of time that you're sitting around waiting for it to get to that gel state, so we can pour, you know, our colors together without them bleeding. Ooh, deep red, nice. Okay, so let me scroll back up. Let's see here. We got a lot of colors coming in here. So I think I'm going to cut, so deep red. Karen, you're going to be the last on these ones. I don't want to get too crazy. I want to make sure that, you know, people can get in for colors on the next round too. So if you put in a super chat, you're going to be getting in on the next round now. All right, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 6 colors. That'll be pretty sweet. So we got bright blue. We got purple. We got, let's see, turquoise for Kim. We've got gold and metallic black. That's pretty cool. Actually, I have exactly that. There's some new, fairly new, somewhat recent, Divine Pigments, and they call it liquid metal, and they got a black one. So look at that, metallic black. It's kind of perfect. And we got deep red. So let me make sure I write this down right. And deep red. All right, so that is going to be pretty sweet, I think. Let me get some gloves on. You gotta keep me on my toes. Okay, so let me get a big cup. I think I can kind of reuse this one. Yeah. It's kind of falling apart, but it'll be okay. Should last. It should make it, I think. Let me, oh, what was that? Let me scoot this up just a little bit. I'm going to zoom out just a hair. Oh. Okay, you can see what's happening here, I think. I'm going to actually rearrange things there. That should be a little bit better. Okay, so we're zeroing the scale out. Let's see, we got black metallic. Let's dig into the drawer of goodness. We got a bright blue. Brilliant blue sounds like a pretty good choice for that, I think. What do you guys think of that? It's brilliant. It's pretty bright. Whoa, it's really not wanting to... Huh. What's going on, camera? Calm down. Okay, so brilliant blue. I think that's pretty good. That's about as bright as it gets. We got purple. Let's go with the classic on this. Let's go with plum crazy. Plum crazy. What is up with my thing? There we go. Plum crazy is a good one. And we got turquoise. I literally have one called turquoise. What do you think of that? Turquoise. Huh. That's really weird. Something's jacked with my camera. Why isn't it? There we go. There we go. Turquoise. Okay. We got gold. You know, I'm thinking maybe Olympic gold. I think Olympic gold's a good idea. What do you think? P-Town Subby Olympic gold? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Let's see here. What else? We got metallic black. We already have that. And then deep red. Ooh. Deep. I'm thinking deep. Let's see here. I'm thinking we'll go with a little bit of wine red, and then let's add a little bit of black, just a tiny bit of this black dye, and it'll kind of darken it up. I think that'll be kind of cool. It'll be definitely deep. All right, so wine red plus black dye, metallic black. This is, again, this is a Divine Pigments. And I think you should be able to pick this stuff up at Turner's Warehouse. I think they should have it. If not, divinepigments.com. Let's see here. So Divine. We're going to go with Olympic Gold. For that, we're going to go with the P-Town Turquoise. We're going to go with the Plum Crazy Purple. And Brilliant Blue. Okay, so we got that ready. Richard's in. Make sure to pick. Okay, so Richard had green, so I'm just going to write a note real quick for the. You're getting in on the next one. Green for Richard. Got that noted on the next pour. Okay, so we're ready here. We got lots of stuff going on. This is cool. Okay, so let me write some notes here. So we're gonna let's just do this kind of. We'll just break it up into even amounts. So we got 700 grams divided by, let's see, 6 colors, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, 6 divided by 6. So we're looking at like 115-ish grams each. Okay. So we got our cup zeroed. I'm going to zoom out a little bit further so you can kind of see what's happening. I'm going to switch to the double cam so you can kind of see what I'm doing up in the top corner there. Let me move these things out of the way because probably going to knock them over. And, whoa, almost lost my lid. That would have been tragic. Okay, so we got our pot ready. We are ready to rock. So part A, we're going to put 350 grams in. Is that right? Yeah, 350. $330, $40. Ooh, we're getting there. Oh, it's dripping down the side. I'm so bummed that they changed the pumps out or don't have the same pumps that I used to use. I used to really like those pumps. Not gonna lie. So we're pretty close for 349.9. I'm gonna call that good. And then 350 for the part B. Let's get that rolling. $350. Perfect. Look at that. I got it on the dot this time. Oh, it went up one. That's okay. All right, so let's mix this stuff up. Oh. I think I dribbled on the side of the cup somehow too. Jeez. It's just making it slippery. I don't like it. Here we go. Chad's here. What's up, man? So every time you're mixing up resin, you want to make sure you're scraping the bottom and the sides of the cup every time. You can even wipe off the stick. You want to make sure that you're, oh, that was terrible. There's a crack in the cup right where I did that. But you want to make sure that you're getting all the little part A's and part B's mixed together, you know. If there's unmixed stuff that you pour into your mold, it's going to be a clump of goo, basically. It's not going to cure. So you want to make sure to stir it up. Now, depending on what type of thing you're doing, if I'm using pressure, so I'm just kind of stirring, you know, I don't really care that I'm introducing, when you stir kind of vigorously like this, you're going to introduce a lot of air bubbles. And, you know, that's not particularly a good idea if you don't have a pressure pot. Then you would want to literally stir it as slow as possible so that you're not introducing air bubbles into the mix, all right? So a lot of people see me doing this and then they try it without a pressure pot and it doesn't really work. And that's why, you know, pressure pots get rid of air bubbles, all right? So I'm just going to kind of wing this again. I'm just going to do 115 grams in this first one and then kind of eyeball it for the rest. It's not that important that these things are, you know, perfect amounts. the only time that it really matters is if you're doing custom dye colors and you need to put very specific amounts, of dye in a very specific amount of resin. If you're just putting mica powder in, not really that big of a deal. Get it kind of close, you'll be good. And there we go. So we got our cups. Now, one thing I could have done is added the mica powder ahead of time to these things. Not that big of a deal in this case. But if you didn't catch last Saturday's live stream, I was doing 15 colors. And in that case, you really want to have your ducks in a row and kind of have everything ready. So you're not, fighting time. Again, we're using a 12-minute working time resin. So what I'm going to do with this dye stuff, I'm going to add about, let's see here, I'm going to add like 1%. So we got about 115 grams or so, somewhere in the neighborhood of that in that cup. So we're going to add, let's see what it looks like with adding about 1 gram or so, 1.2, that's fine. Let's just see what this looks like. Oh yeah, that's nice. You see that? That looks pretty sweet. I like it. Black metallic. I'm digging it. Okay, so let's see here. Let's get I got a 1/4 teaspoon. I think a 1/4 teaspoon. I'm just going to make it a pretty hefty 1/4 teaspoon for each one of these colors. That ought to be plenty. Just going to write off. So again, you can kind of wing it on these types of things. It's not that big of a deal. Get some brilliant blue going. David, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. We got those two done. Got some Olympic gold. Yeah, red and black. I'm going to get these guys out of the way. Okay, wipe off this gold. So I was supposed to send you all pizza. I had pizza on Sunday. My sister's birthday party. These birthdays are killing my diet. I'm trying to eat good. It's like every weekend there's like a pizza party, and then it's not like it's other people, and then like on our day off, I mix in I think I've mentioned it before, but we go to somewhere like BJ's Brew House, and of course I'm gonna have beer. They got, oh man, they have this beer at BJ's that's it is a bourbon like aged stout. Oh, it's so good. Whiskey barrel stout, I think they call it. Oh, it's the greatest. Okay, so we got a little black dye. First, I'm going to mix these other ones up, and then we're going to work on this this black dye here. Oh, there. I'm going to mix these guys in. I'm going to mix them all in, actually. Then we're going to, once we have our red mixed into the cup, then I'm just going to add a little bit of black here and there, add a drop at a time type thing. And see, sneak up on that kind of deep red that we're looking for. We could even probably use like a blue and make it kind of like a burgundy. That's another way to go with that. Black is just going to darken that color. Berry cider, nice. Not a huge cider person, but BJ's has a lot of really good beers, and you know, like I haven't had anything that was like, oh, that's terrible. Any of their like brews, or you know, I haven't tried the ciders personally, but I haven't heard anyone complain about the cider either. Most people that like ciders are like, yeah, they do good. But their menu is so good, and then the Pazookies, oh my gosh. If you guys haven't had a Pazookie yet, it's like a cookie that's like baked in a big pan. Oh, so anyway, I was talking about my diets, and so we go there, and I'm like, they have this dinner special thing on Thursdays where you get tri-tip, you get 2 sides, and a Pazookie, and it's like $16. I'm like, dude, all day. I could eat that 3 times a day. So it makes it tough when we go to like a movie or something and then go to BJ's afterwards. But really, whatever. Thursday's my day off, and I don't count calories on Thursdays. It's just tough when, you know, you have that day is kind of like the cheat day, quote unquote, or whatever. And then Sunday, there's this party and there's pizza and cake, and you're just like, I'm going to have to run 20 miles to work this off. Okay, so we finally got to the red. And again, this is the wine red from P-Town Subby. It's a good color. Nice, rich red. And I'm going to add, like I said, we're going to do a little black. I'm going to shake this up a little bit. We can probably even put this liquid metal stuff in. That would work too. Every day is a cheat. No, it's not. Problem is, I just, if I don't eat well, I don't feel good. So even like on Thursdays, you know, we don't really eat particularly well, and I don't really feel that great the next day usually, which is probably a good reason to quit doing that. But I like beer and I like food. Look at that. There's a deep red. And if we want to, we can add, like I said, we can add a little bit of blue. I'm actually gonna go for the like an ocean blue. It's a little bit lighter blue than the normal one, and we can get a little bit kind of that burgundy to come out in this, I think. Just a tiny little drop. It already does kind of look a little bit burgundy, but this will move it a little bit more into that kind of purple plum, kind of deep. Look at that. I mean, brr. It's looking pretty good, I think. That is a deep red. All right, so I can feel this thing is actually kind of warm. So it's 75 in the shop. I don't have as much time as I'm used to typically. So let's see what our temperature is. It's probably getting pretty much prime. 102 almost, so we're ready. So what I'm going to do here is we're just going to drop in 3 chunks of this cholla. Boop, boop, and whoop, boop. And then I'm just going to start pouring. The nice thing is you can kind of let the resin kind of flow down the cholla chunks a little bit, and that'll kind of keep it also from just bleeding or splashing together so much, you know. I think what I'm going to do is 2 rounds. We'll just kind of pour, you know, each color down in there, and then we'll do it once again, and we should be pretty good on our timing. I probably would have started pouring at around that 102, 103 mark anyway. So we're good. Might have to do No, we're good. Do 2 rounds. Just did purple. Let's go back to blue. Turquoise. Now you may have your cholla, it may float a little bit on you. Okay, so it's definitely floating. Now one thing I can do is just kind of actually use a popsicle stick and just kind of tape that down and keep it pretty close to you know, down in there. Oh, I didn't do the black. Shoot. I was like, it seems like we're a little low on the colors. Whoopsies. Sorry, Rich. You didn't get a whole lot of color going on these. The black. Oh, well, you get to do the fun cup. You get happy fun cup time. All right, so this one seems to really want to float. So, like I said, I'm just going to kind of push this thing down just like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a piece of tape. I hope it's probably going to fall off, huh? And hopefully this should work. Okay, so like I said, all we want to do is just keep that thing down into the, keep it kind of, you know, down in the resin. But we don't want to get too crazy with it, right? You don't want that popsicle stick going way down into the blank. We just want to keep that cholla down in there. Okay, so one more here. All right, so we got our 3 pipes. I'm just going to pop these guys in the pressure pot, and then we'll fill our happy fun cup. Hands are all gooey. I don't like getting my screws all resiny, so I'm going to wipe my hands off here. Okay. Now, one thing you could do to kind of help keep the cholla from floating is you can kind of wedge more cholla chunks in there. That could kind of help if it really can't move on you. So just a couple of thoughts about that when you're dealing with stuff that may float or whatever. Actually, I forgot to do the happy fun cup. Hold on. Hold everything. Happy fun cup. Stuff's pretty thick. Luckily, we had plenty of resin since I forgot the black. Jeez. Just kind of set it aside and forgot about it. Okay, so we got that guy. Move back up to that thing. We'll unplug this guy. So what I'm going to do real quick is just wipe off these sticks. And you know, it's funny. I learned something from Steve McDonald. I don't know why it never really crossed my mind to reuse the wooden sticks. Well, I think part of the thing for me is I do a lot of custom dye colors. And so I don't really want to be mixing in something that's got dye on it with the next round of cups. And, you know, some days I'll be, just cranking out blanks. And so I wouldn't reuse one of these things really. But at the same time, you can wipe it off and do all this stuff. So I've been trying to actively save those because they're not particularly expensive. And I have a ton of these that I bought. But the nice thing is, I don't have to, I like to cut the end off. I don't like stirring with this because it's not nice and flat to scrape the bottom of the cup. So I have to cut my sticks. Well, that's a pain. It's not a particularly useful way to spend your time, So if I can reuse them, I don't know why that never really occurred to me. Steve McDonald, if you aren't following him, he has a great channel. He does all kinds of cool resin casting tips and tricks and projects and all kinds of stuff, more on just like crafting type of resin casting, but he's got a lot of really great tips and tricks. So make sure to check him out if you haven't already. I think most of you guys probably know Steve. Probably follow him. Great guy. Great channel. Okay, so just doing a little bit of cleanup on aisle 7. And I got to get some more of these handy dandy little things. So super chats are back open. We have, let's see, we got green for Richard. Richard wanted green. So if anybody wants to get on, we have the next, where do they go? The next round, we're doing another triple pipe. This time I won't forget the, the one in the big cup. Sometimes you got to learn lessons. Let's see, put that back there. Let's see here. You can, I'm not sure if, oh, you can put a link, yeah. What channel is it? Well, tell me what channel it is. What is it? What's going on with it? As long as it's not, too bad. Scott, what's going on, man? Leopard print with brown accent. Now, what are we talking about? Oh, doing your nails. That's cool. Nice. Mark's working on the Jeep. Sweet. Why not? Yeah, exactly. Why not? Okay, I'm going to put these while we're waiting for some super chats to come in. Like I said, if you want to pick some colors, super chat now. Get in on this. Get your color picked. We got everything. And I'm going to wipe off the HDPE stick. Yeah, Hobby Lobby has some Cholla. I would actually look, the Cholla that I saw that I've seen, it's pretty big and not as awesomely useful. Definitely not for pen blanks. It's going to be, and I don't even know if it would fit in an inch and a half for stoppers. So for big projects, it works fine. But if you're looking for smaller stuff, I would actually hunt for it. Well, actually, does Turner's Warehouse have it still? They used to sell it, I think. Let's look. Is Chad still here? They used to have Cholla that you could buy, I think. Okay, I'm not seeing it at Turner's, but you can find it on Etsy. That's where I got mine. And I got a huge box of it, and it wasn't that expensive. $3 an inch. Sweet. It'll be enlightening. Okay, yeah, definitely, Jen. Definitely. All right, David, have a good one. Have a good meal. Dinner sounds good. Tell you what, I was supposed to work out today, but I was running behind and my body's just like, you know what? No, not today. Peapod's in for Midnight Blue. Sweet. I like Midnight Blue. I have a, what do you think about glitter, Peapod? I have a Midnight Blue glitter. So I'm going to show this to you and I'm going to see what you think about it because I haven't used it for a long time and it is pretty fabulous, if I do say so myself. We can even add in a little bit of blue dye with it and that'll kind of, so let me know what you think about that. I think that's a pretty special one. Oh, you guys do have it at Turner's? I couldn't find it. I think I just searched for Cholla. I don't know. Do it, Karen. I like it. I like it. Do it. I got to be honest. I mean, it's popular. You know, dye your hair, do some cool stuff. I don't know anything about what's going on with it, but like people are always dyeing their hair different colors now, and so I'm thinking like it seems like it's easier to do that because in like super bright and crazy cool colors. So I don't know. Is that something that's like, is it easier to do that now? And like I see people change their hair like a lot. So it just, I don't know. Back in the day, it was like, you know, like you could get like color put in your hair if you're like at the beauty salon, but like most people just bleached it and ruined your hair and that was it. Yeah, I am in favor of glitter at all times. Nice, we'll do that. Okay, so let me write this down. So for Richard wanted green. Do you have any? Let's see. Where's Richard? Is he still here? Hopefully he's still here. I'm trying to think for a green. You know what's what might be kind of fun is to go with the key lime green. I don't know. What do you think about that? So let me know, Richard, if you like that idea. That'd be kind of cool with that blue. Yeah, purple and turquoise. There you go. It is easier. That's what I thought. I figured it kind of had to be because it wasn't like it was hard to get out if you did it, and it just seems like you can totally swap, swap things out, like go from like one crazy, spectrum to another on color. So, Richard, what do you think about key lime green dye for your green? Yeah, everybody loves the key lime. Nice. Okay, sweet. Okay, so we got two colors. Anybody else? Last call for super chats, and then I'm going to throw in some of my own colors. Ooh, watch out. Watch out. Watch out, guys. So same deal. We're going to do 700 grams total. So let me go get a cup ready while we're chilling out here. And these paint cups are great because I just let the resin kind of, harden up in there. In some cases, it doesn't work very well, and you can't just get the, like peel the skin out, let's call it. Sometimes it can be kind of a pain, but typically, typically you can just pull it out. And a lot of people are like, oh, you should save that and recast it, and I don't, because it's going to be kind of smooth and it's just not on top list of things that I want to do personally. But you could if you wanted to. I would recommend using like recasting in an epoxy. Epoxies are typically a little bit like stickier, but I just like that you can just get it out of the cup real easy. Yeah, I don't think my hair would take too much dye either. I don't even have much hair left. Not in this general vicinity. Everyone's like, oh, why do you wear your hat backwards? And I'm like, I don't usually wear a hat backwards. and I don't, but I do want to wear a hat because I'm like balding and I don't really love looking at myself on the screen like that. So I wear a hat, but the thing is I have so much bright overhead light that if I did this, then I look like I'm like you have this like raccoon eyes thing. So that's why I wear my hat backwards. So if I'm at an event, you're not going to see me wearing my hat backwards, most likely. So it's funny. Oh, Karen's in for some silver. That's a good call. Let's go with the so they don't sell it anymore, but there's a, what is that? What is that color? What is that brand? Is it Mehron? Actually, oh, they don't sell that either. Jeez. This is a really awesome silver, so we're going to go with this, but I need to find, where is the... Hold on real quick. I want to make sure I tell you guys what this is. Yeah, it is Mehron. Okay, so... It's super expensive. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if it's really worth it, but it is a little different than every other metallic silver. Like it is a true silver looking thing. Like to me, it's the best silver I've found. If you're going for like, you know, like the Detroit Lions helmet kind of silver, it works pretty well. And Alumilite used to sell it, and I don't know why they don't anymore. Supposedly their supplier, I heard that they can't get it. The supplier doesn't sell it, or I don't know. But there's another brand that, as far as I'm concerned, it's the same exact thing. It's called Mehron. And there's a link on Amazon to where I get it. Like I said, it's expensive, but for me, it's one of those things that I've been using it in certain blanks for years. And so I buy it anyway because I want to make sure I have it. But up to you if you want to spend that much money on a mica powder. There are other silvers that work pretty darn good too. So, all right, so we got green, we got midnight blue. I'm just writing some notes real quick, and then we got silver. So for the green, we're using key lime. I love that key lime. That is one of my favorite colors. Plus, it's called key lime, and I don't know if you guys like key lime pie, but this guy does. I love it. So for the midnight blue, we're using the glitter. And then for silver, we're using the, I call it Alumilite's silver, but they don't sell it anymore. So it's Mehron. I mean, I'm just going to write that down actually. Mehron, M-E-H-R-O-N. Always good to write a note down. Okay, so let's go. It works back. Nice. Yeah, I know. It'd be kind of problematic. I mean, I already get my head in the camera sometimes anyway. So, whatever. But it's hilarious because some people, I don't know if you guys have ever seen the comments, but there are some people that like take offense. Like I ruined their entire life because I have my hat on backwards. And I'm like, you need to chill out. You know, what? Okay. Let's, yeah, key lime. I'm telling you, key lime pie is so good. I like pie. Yeah, it keeps stuff out of the hair. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Cool. Cool. Okay, so let's see what someone was asking about. Something. Yeah, people, I'm telling you, people get mad about it. I'm like, what's this? Catchers wear their hat backwards. Do you hate all catchers too? In baseball? Okay, so let's move on here. I know, I'm telling you. The tough thing is, like, sometimes I look at comments and you're like, whoa, you know, what's the deal? And like the truth is that like some people, like that's their whole deal, is they're just, that's like their connection to the world. And so for a lot of people, it's not really, you know, you're like, okay, whatever, but that's their whole thing. So I don't know. You live in Florida and don't like key lime pie. Hey, you know, if you don't like it, you don't have to have it. It's cool. Saves you some calories anyway. I love it, and it's, man, I'm trying to think. I've had some really good key lime pies too. I've never been to Key West, or I've never been to Florida, I guess either. So I'm sure that I'm missing out on some amazing things out there. But I have had some pretty good ones at restaurants that people who I believe have some experience with key lime pie, like true, like the really good key lime pies have said that certain places. I can't think of where it was though. I've had it and they're like, oh yeah, that's like authentic. All right, so 350 grams of part A. I love food, and that's the reason why I gotta like eat. Like most of the time, eat well, because otherwise it's bad news. I don't know if you guys have seen some of my early videos, but I weighed a lot more back then. All right, so we got our 350 part A, 350 part B coming up. I've found though, for food, if you're like, because I don't diet. I say that, but I'm just, what I choose to eat is what I'm talking about typically. The thing is, it's not that hard if you can identify foods that are just not high calorie density. Because I love eating and I will eat like seconds and all that stuff for dinner, but I try to find things that are kind of low calorie density or just on the healthier side of things, so that I can just pig out and not really worry about it. And try and keep things like, just find foods that you like, I guess is what I was saying. You got to find things that you really like that are not super bad for you or whatever. Okay, so again, we're mixing up. Mix it. All right, Tim, have a good one. Thanks for joining the fun. Yeah, that's a good one. Like I said, I mean, I almost never wear my hat backwards like normally because of that. I like wearing a hat to keep the sun out of your eyes. It's so funny because my wife doesn't, she isn't like a hat wearer, wasn't. And it's funny, like we'll go running and she's like, oh, I need a hat. You always have a hat on and it keeps the sun out of your eyes. And I'm like, I know, that's the whole point. That's why we wear hats. It's got a brim on it. Oh, sunglasses too, yeah. Yeah, thanks, Mark. I didn't set out to like lose weight. That wasn't actually my thing. I wanted to get into shape because I started snowboarding and getting like more and more into snowboarding, and I was like, I am gonna hurt myself trying to do the things that I'm trying to do. So that I dropped. I don't know how many pounds or whatever, but I dropped a good amount of weight, like on a first round, a few years ago, and then last year I kind of took a little time off because I was just having nothing but problems with my knees and my back, and I thought, it's probably not a bad idea to lose some weight. That's probably not. Oh, I don't need that many cups. We only need 2. Okay, so we got 2. Actually, how much resin do I need? We're gonna need bigger cups, I think. 700 divided by 3. That's about 230 or so. So we're going to put these little tiny cups away and we're going to get 2 of these bigger guys. There we go. So I'll just measure this out, 230. Oh, I forgot I was thinking about maybe adding some, we're not doing clear, I guess, so that didn't work. I was thinking about adding some of the cactus glitter But if it's not clear, you know, the casting that you're doing, then cactus glitter doesn't really work too well. Didn't really think about that. Okay, so we got 230 there. Got about 230-ish there. So let's put our lime green in, key lime green. And again, I think we'll probably be able to get away with just about 1%, so 2.3. Let's just try 2 grams. I'm walking away from everything while I shake this thing up. So I just shook that off camera. Let's see, 2.32. Let's just try 2 grams, see what that looks like. Should be plenty, I think. 1.9, good enough. Let's see where we're at. I'm actually going to reuse one of these sticks. I don't think it's going to be a problem. Yeah, that's plenty. I love that color. Oh, key lime. Divine Pigments is based out of Florida too, by the way, if you didn't know. That's where Braxton's at. Okay, so we'll check out this silver. I really like this silver. Oh, we're running a little bit low, but that's okay. That'll be enough. I'm going to put I'm going to try, I think a 1/4 teaspoon is going to be plenty in this case. That's another thing, is this stuff gets pretty opaque without using as much as you would for, you know, most of the other silver mica powders, the other ones. So let me show you this. This stuff, the thing about it is it's like super fine powder. It's different than most of your mica powders. And that Mehron, it's actually a makeup brand, which, you know, most of these micas also can be used as makeup. It's a, you know, it's kind of all the same stuff in most cases. But it's just, you can get it like super silver. I don't know. It's the most, like, the lightest color silver that I've seen, I guess. Maybe that's what I'm trying to explain. And if you really load it up, you can almost get it to the point where, like, it looks like the Detroit Lions helmet type thing, you know? So it's a pretty good one, Mehron. The link above. I'll make sure the link is in the description too. And then we got some, let's see, I'm gonna add a little bit of blue dye first. I'm just gonna add like a drop and see what happens. You don't necessarily need a lot of dye. I just want to have like a backdrop, so it's not just kind of clear, you know. Just have a little bit of color behind this glitter. That's good. And then let's load this stuff up. I want to put a lot of this glitter in, so let's do like a teaspoon or so, maybe 2 teaspoons possibly. It's a pretty fine glitter as well, so the more the merrier in this case. And so it's a heavy teaspoon. I just put in a heavy teaspoon. Sometimes I say these things and I'm using measuring spoons, and you guys are like, why do you even use a measuring spoon? But I don't know, you know, I usually end up kind of adding a little bit more than I need, more than, you know, the teaspoon is. So we're gonna do 2. Get all those little glitters in there. I don't want to miss out on any glitters. These are going to be pretty sweet looking. So what do you guys think about that? That's pretty cool, huh? That's midnight. Oh, get on the camera. Midnight bluish. Sparkly. That looks like the metallic flake. Is that what they call it? Metal flake, like a car paint job, kind of, to me. If I was to get a classic car, well, back in the day, what I wanted was a 68 Camaro. 68 Camaro that was actually midnight blue. That's what it reminds me of. I don't know what I'd get. I really like the old Challengers. Those things are sweet. The new Challengers are really awesome too. We rented one of the, I forget what package it was. It was kind of like the slightly souped up, but not like super awesome version. We rented one and drove it around in Phoenix. One time we went down there. It was so fun. It was a nice car to drive. I enjoyed that. All right, let's see what temperature we're at. 96.5 or so. 97. Should all be the same about. Pretty close anyway. That one's at 98. 96. All right, let's see here. Yeah, Cholla skeleton. Did I get all the dye that I shook? Yeah, eventually. I think I got most of that dye. There's still some here and there that, yeah, that's the thing that's what I don't like about dyes sometimes. They just, you stick your finger in something and you're like, why am I yellow? It's like a month later. And you're like, oh, it's that dye. It went flying all over the place. Yeah, you'll get to see these. I'll turn one of them this weekend on Saturday. And I'll post shorts on YouTube and probably Instagram, either story or like a reel, and Facebook too. Tough thing is you won't necessarily see a whole lot inside, until you turn into it. You may not really see that the colors that much. But okay, I think it's time to pour. So let's get our Chollas going here. So we're just gonna go bloop, bloop, bloop. Okay, a little bit of silver, a little bit of green. One thing to note about that silver mica, it actually tends to want to float. It's kind of a weird one. But because the particles are a little bit, I guess lighter, it will tend to float. So that's actually one where if you're using that, again, that silver, the Mehron, if you're using that, you're going to actually want to wait till the end of the working time so the stuff doesn't really kind of float on you. It's kind of a backwards thing. A lot of times we're worried about sinking. Okay, back to the green. And our blue. Okay, now we got to deal with these Chollas that are trying to kind of pop out of there. So let me get these things emptied here. And then we'll grab that thing's not really going to go anywhere. Grab some tape, and then we'll just keep these things pushed down a little bit using our tape, okay? So where did I put that tape? There it is. Oh, that didn't work so hot. There we go. Okay, another tape. Oh, that did not work. It worked fine on the first time. There we go. And one more stick and a tape. Okay, so we got everything ready here. Let's get the pressure pot open. You guys can see in the top corner there. Oops. There we go. And get this lid on, and then we'll pour our Happy Fun cup. We're going to finish that one off. Pressure, 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 pressure. Okay, Happy Fun cup time. There we go. And then I'm going to wipe the stick off real quick so that I can quickly reuse that. Look at that. We made it, guys. We got some pretty cool blanks along the way. All right, so let's see here. I'm going to switch to the intro view. Get this tape out of my way. So can't really see the fun cup kind of separated the resin from the sides, and so you can't really see too well. So I'll just put that aside, but that one's pretty much topped off at this point. And so we have, how many do I have? I have like 4 now. We're gonna have to start a new one next time. I guess we have 3 now that we have that one. So we'll be starting on the 4th one. And so the game plan is that somebody, I forget who mentioned it. Somebody had a good idea to just keep those things until I got 10, and then send them in with the mystery box folks, the subscriptions. So we got 3 of them so far, and we'll have a few more. It'll just probably just take a few more months, and then those things will go out. So it's pretty cool. Leaving that cut at the edge of the table. Oh, the cup at the edge of the table? Is that what you meant? I don't know. So does anybody have any questions? You had a 69 Camaro? Nice. 72 Cuda. Yeah, Barracuda would be kind of a cool one. Dang, Mustang 2 Cobra. Sweet. Yeah, I used to be really into cars. I don't know. At this point, I'm like, whatever. I don't have time, or I definitely don't have money for it. My dad's got a '56 Buick, and he shows it and does all that kind of stuff. I'm not a big fan of like I would show it, maybe once or twice, but like he does it like weekly, and I'm just like, man, I'd rather just drive the thing, you know, go get some tickets. I wouldn't really. I'm not the sit by your car and show it off kind of thing. Yeah, that blue. Yeah, we had the midnight blue. I kind of forget about those. They're like, and they actually are. We were saying that it's like car colors. That's where the whole car thing came up, and that's actually what these are. It's I got it from metallic flake. That's what they call it. I got it from one of those automotive paint websites, which again they sell basically mica powders and stuff. But they have a bunch of glitter. It's the same stuff you see on like bass boats, guitars. It's all the same stuff. They call it metal flake, and I think it's funny because it's all just plastic stuff. So anyway. Oh, you got the flooring chips. Nice. That's cool. AMC Javelin. That's cool. Yeah. Back in the day, I used to be a big Chevy fan, and I like the Camaros. But the problem is they're so ubiquitous. Like you see them all the time. If you go to like a classic car thing, there's always a Camaro, a 60-something Camaro, and it's like I started to kind of think like if I was gonna get a classic car, I think at this point I might go for something a little bit more. I don't know, that you don't see all the time. Does it float? I don't think that metallic flake stuff does anything. I think it just kind of sits pretty evenly. Maybe like if you were using I don't know. So this is coming from Alumilite Clear Slow, right? And this is another reason why I use this. I don't really have to worry about it because we're already waiting till the end of the working time, and it's going to lock it in. If you were trying to put this in like deep pour, something that had like a 2-hour working time, in that case, it may sink or do something, float possibly. I think that, but once again, I mean, if you're using an epoxy that's got like a 30 to 40 minute working time, and you're doing what I just did, you're still going to want to wait till the end of the working time. So, I don't know. The only time that you'd have to worry is like if you mixed it up, put the stuff in, and then poured it right away, and it was just like one color or something like that. In that case, if you had a 30 to 40 minute working time resin, I don't know, maybe it might move a little bit. I'm not sure though. Oh, 66 F100. I had a 54 Chevy pickup. That was actually my first car. And it was supposed to be like this project that me and my dad like restored together. And it was all this, yeah. After like 2 years of it's still a frame. Like we took the entire truck apart and it's still a frame. And I'm like turning 16 like next year kind of thing. We kind of had to scrap that idea. And had already put thousands of dollars into it and it didn't get anywhere. It was funny. Scuba diving, that's cool. That's really fun. I wish I would have gotten into scuba diving earlier. I would like to do it. My wife has ear issues, so we tried doing just kind of like the intro course, like in a pool kind of thing, and I don't think it's going to work for her. Even I had issues with my ears. We did it in Hawaii. It'd be fun. I just don't know if it's worth getting into now. I don't know. I don't have time for it anyway, really. 68 Austin Healey bug. Nice. Oh, Bug Eye Black. Nice. That's cool. That's a classic. Why not? 76 Nova. A good buddy of mine had, I don't know what year it was, but it was a 70 something Nova. I just remember one day somehow he sucked in, I don't know how this even happened. Somehow a nut or a bolt or something like that got sucked into the motor and blew the blew the motor basically. And I just remember sitting in front of his house and he was revving the car up, and then you just see green what is it called, the coolant go out the tailpipes, and we knew something was terribly wrong with it. That thing was a piece of junk though. Yeah, the pickups are sweet. I like that 54. It was pretty cool. Yeah, yeah. Mine had the 54 has like and actually Chad just got one of these. Is Chad still here? I don't know if Chad's still here. Chad just got one. He's restoring one, and it's got the kind of almost like a bow tie kind of grill, and not the slats. It's got this like really big kind of grill thing. And actually, Chad has one. It's going to be like the Turner's Warehouse truck, which I was like, wow, that's so cool. Oh, no, I'm not saying I'm too old. I just don't know if it's worth my time. There's other things that I want to do that, we'll see. That I can do with my wife and all that kind of stuff. That's all. Yeah, no, you're definitely never too old to do it. And if I really felt that strongly about it, I would just go do it anyway. It's just time and all these other things. It's like, whatever. I don't even have time to go mountain biking right now. So anyway, guys, I appreciate you guys all joining the fun. Thank you very much for all the super chats. So like I said, I'll post pics of, when I get these demolded. It's going to be a little bit of maybe a little let downy, because you're not going to really see the insides or the cholla much, I would imagine, when we demold them. So it may be a kind of a, whatever. But we will be turning one of them. So yeah, I'll turn one of these. I'm going to make more for the rest of the handles for the mystery box blanks people. But I'll be turning one of these guys up, and I think we might make a pizza cutter with a pizza cutter handle. So we'll be doing that on Saturday. So you get to see what at least one of these things looks like on Saturday. It should be pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah, kind of expensive. But man, I was just thinking, like, it'd be so cool to travel and go scuba diving in different places. That would be the best. So anyway, guys, so Saturday is going to be at noon. We're back to our regular Saturday schedule. So Saturday at noon Pacific time, we will turn up one of these blanks, and then keep your eyes peeled. I'll probably post maybe on Friday, because I'm not in the shop tomorrow. So probably on Friday, I'll post pics of what these things look like coming out of the pressure pots. Probably do like a short on YouTube, and then a reel possibly on Instagram or a story. So anyway, guys, I hope you have a wonderful night, a wonderful evening, and a great rest of the week. And I will see you guys all on Saturday, and we'll turn one of these guys up.